There are places I remember all my life, but some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone on and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are gone and some are living. In my life I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. And I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life I've loved you more. And I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life I've loved you more. In my life I've loved you more.
Yes. Beautiful, Sue.
We've all had a bit of that, huh?
Oh my gosh, I love that song.
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Living is easy with eyes closed. Misunderstanding all you see. It's getting hard to be someone, but it all works out. Doesn't matter much to me. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. No one I think is in my dream. I mean it must be high or low. That is, you know, you can't tune in, but it's alright. That is, I think it's not too bad. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Always know sometimes think it's me. I know when it's a dream. I think I know, I mean, yes, but it's all wrong. That is, I think I disagree. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real, and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Strawberry fields forever. Strawberry fields forever.
Sweet.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.
My idea is that I actually have actually like a song that it's not so popular with people. It's not a popular song.
That's about all of mine,
Okay.
except for with a certain age group.
Yes, yes. Well, as it turns out, it is, and I'll close the door. As a matter of fact, I'll close the door now.
Okay.
But the song itself is a song by Bob Dylan, and it was written, right? It was written by Bob Dylan. Sound looks okay on there.
Mm-hmm.
It was written by Bob Dylan.
Yes.
And it talks about Verlaine and Rimbaud, which was an extreme political activist but dominant character in the political scene, Paul Verlaine, and which is a whole other story,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but he was a statesman in France in the 17th, 18th century or something, and he was as prominent as could be because of his ideas and concept, and he could always explain things in their political structure when they had their meetings in such a way that, and where it was clear that it was exquisitely done. Okay.
Was it
So-
before the revolution or after?
1789 was the French Revolution. And-
Was he before
and
or during?
I think he was before.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, but now anyone that's interested, they can look him up and they'll learn something. It'll be interesting, which is the point. But the song that it's interesting now. So this guy is like 3,000, 2,000 years before Bob Dylan.
Well,
And that's-
200, right?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
200 years.
Yeah.
So but 200 years.
Which is like
that's like
2,000 in culture, right?
It might as well be
Yeah.
a million when we think about
Right, right.
what was in the newspaper yesterday. We're talking about. And he's writing this song about this guy that was 200 years prior.
Yeah, they got around by horses, so that's like...
Yes, slow motion. Yes.
And walking.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a different world then.
Mhm.
And this guy was a statesman, wealthy family, but did not. He was confused. I'll say he was confused as a, he was not a heterosexual.
Mhm.
So maybe he wasn't confused. I don't know, but he was as he was, right?
Really difficult back then.
Yes, and a statesman, and he was a real extreme. I'll say an extreme ladies' man, and sort of anything goes kind of guy.
Mhm.
anyway, as a result, he was, and which is probably why he's not too spoken about. And
I had never heard of him before.
so
Yes.
now here's this song that he wrote, that Bob Dylan wrote. And I'll start with the lyrics that I can remember, then I'll bring out the. Might have been like the lanes in Rimbaud. Oh gosh, can't remember what I'm thinking of. Might be spoiling me too much love. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go. It goes on and on. You're gonna make me wonder what I'm doing. You're staying far behind without you. You're gonna make me wonder what I'm saying. You're gonna make me give myself a good talking to. Exquisite. I mean, it's and this is. And I look for you in old Honolulu, San Francisco, and Ashtabula. You know,
He didn't say Ashtabula.
Ashtabula. This is Bob Dylan telling the song, but he included he
He
included.
actually said Ashtabula.
Ashtabula. This is.
That's Ohio.
This Ohio, which is Ohio. So,
You have to live near Ashtabula to ever heard of it.
yes. It's Sandusky,
Yes.
Ashtabula.
Yes.
This is. And Bob Dylan was there. I mean, and so it was wonderful that and Ashtabula, of course, being from Ohio, it was like Honolulu and this guy he's interesting, and this is all he's got this global song and lyric set that he's put together for the song, and it's a beautiful song. So it's been sang recently by a woman who was just at the Libero Theater in Santa Barbara,
Mhm.
and she tours around, and that's how I heard the song, because it was her, and I said, wow, that's an interesting song, and I saw written by Bob Dylan, and I was like, wow, okay, and it was like she was trying to do classics from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and like Sarah Vaughan style vocal, and the timing with, it might have been like the lanes in Rimbaud, and the verbiage, it was all artistic and well placed and well done. And Bob Dylan, in my mind, was born again when I realized that he had written that he had actually conceived this 200-year idea song, this song that included 200 years of life experience in places and time that he put together in one, beautiful song bundle.
Well, he himself had a timeless mind. So,
Yes.
I mean, to pull those words out.
Yes. And so, and it's a beautiful song. You're gonna make me lonesome when you go, I believe is the name of it.
Uh-huh.
And I remember the name of it's a French singer or lady with the French name. I don't know if she's French. Well, I don't know if she's American French, but an excellent. I can't remember it, but it's an excellent song. So I totally appreciate it.
If not for you, I couldn't even find the door, wouldn't even see the floor, didn't have a clue. If not for you, if not for you, every night would see me wide awake, waiting for the day to break, sun shining through. If not for you, not for you, my sky would fall, rain wouldn't get into Without your love I'd be nowhere at all, be lost if not for you. If not for you, the winter would hold no spring. I couldn't hear a robin sing. There'd be nothing new if not for you. Not for you my sky would fall, rain would gather too. Without your love I'd be nowhere at all, be lost if not for you. If not for you, the winter would hold no spring. I couldn't hear a robin sing. I'd be sad and blue if not for you. If not for you, if not for you.
That was when he did that. That was one of Bob Dylan's tunes.
That's a George Harrison
But
song.
he did that song.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
So this is our talk format, which I mentioned, I referenced it on the phone, and we just sort of follow the format. And it basically means that so that if anyone says anything, we respect their space, and then we'll actually address, if we speak on the same topic, that this is my perspective and these are my thoughts, it's separate from yours. And so we call that piggybacking. We separate everyone's ideas so that everyone can express themselves. Topics are changeable. We can start out the topic with we can say we're going to talk about fun places we visited on the theme of what you were saying in Santa Barbara. And if that was our topic, then if George wanted to talk about music, then George could also depart and talk about music, and we would respect George and do that.
I'm gonna try to tie it all into the theme, though.
Which would be Sir
Which
George.
would be
Let's give him
musical
yes,
places
yes.
that I visit.
Which is the science of George. But that's sort of the general idea. And what happens is when one person talks and we listen to them, and the normal habit is when there is a dialogue to interrupt and then insert something, and as a result, like I was telling Rose.
When there's a dialogue interrupt, you say?
When there is a dialogue, we tend to interrupt like normal. So we always have one idea, then we go to another and another. But the concept that the songs that have been written for the hundreds of years or thousands that we've heard them that are recorded, those are all monologues. And they're clear, concise ideas that one person had that they communicated wonderfully. So we're sort of honoring that tradition and creating the monologue format. And then we do afterwards, 20 minutes afterwards, we'll do the dialogues, and then we can address in a couple minute time frame. Everyone can sort of connect with everyone and what was interesting that they thought was fun that they said. And that's the talk format. So voila. Yeah.
Wow, this is all so surprising.
Is it? Yes. I don't know if I could explain it on the phone, but I said, well, this is life. Let us live life. Yes. So on that note, I will offer, as we're more experienced gentlemen, I will offer
I'll start with that.
tones. Yes, there we go.
I have a pretty good story to share. Are we already rolling?
We're rolling. We can edit it later.
Oh, okay,
in the
cool.
room, so.
Well, on the theme of musical places, last year in August, I visited my brother in Colorado, and while I was there, he took me around to various places to kind of show me the sights, and he lives near a town called Parker, not too far away from Denver. So we were also able to drive into Denver. And he did surprise me with a visit to see the band Rush
Cool.
He had bought tickets, didn't tell me that he bought the tickets, and he just said, we're driving into Denver tonight, and we're gonna go to this restaurant that is just amazing, you're gonna love it, you know. And it was called Brooklyn's, it's right across from the Pepsi Center. But that wasn't the main reason that we were going there, which he divulged to me. I'm like, Pepsi Center, wow, look at that, there it is. He's like, yep, that's where we're going tonight, we're going to see Rush. But that's not really what I wanted to share though, because while I was there, we also went fishing, and we went to a place that has this energy about it that just blew my mind, and that was Red Rocks. And so we hiked up to the top, and there happened to be a band that was going to be performing, I think, later that night. They were rehearsing. So the whole time we were doing the hike up to the top of Red Rocks, and just taking in the sights, and of course you can, once you get to the top, you can see Denver, and we could actually, it was such a clear day that we could actually see Denver the whole time we were climbing up. And it's a pretty healthy walk, like you need to be in some pretty good shape. I had been working out a lot before I went and did this with him, and I was still kind of winded when we got to the top of this thing and needed to sit down for a couple minutes, but what a beautiful view, and just the energy of this place, and what they've done is put, you know, into this beautiful rock formation coming up out of the earth, this concert venue, and the sound quality there is so incredible, and just the energy of this place. And some bands that I love have played there. For some reason, U2 always pops into my mind, because one of the first times I saw U2 was on video footage of them playing at Red Rocks, and it was just an incredible, almost like religious experience, their show, you know, very powerful, moving. But yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I think the band that we were watching do their sound check was called the Thievery Corporation, or something like that. And they're big. They've been on television before and stuff. I know they've been on some talk shows, that kind of thing. But yeah, just that experience of going to that place. I had always wanted to go there and take a look at it. And the nearby lake where we fished all day was beautiful as well. But yeah, Red Rock. That's it.
Cool, thanks. Huh?
9 o'clock.
Susie? Yes, yeah.
This one is called Everything Lives.
You ever heard of the river who's talking about the big mountains all covered with trees? The leaves have a message, they're always squawking. The person with someone called breeze. Oh, everything lives, like the moon and the sky and the stars at night. Everything lives, like the hair in your skin, the tools in your eyes that exist. Just like this, ways we can't understand. Someday we will, one day we may.
We start using the other 90% of our brain.
Laughing stones rolling down the precipice, clapping shells washing up to the shore. There's a babbling brook that will never cease. Children will always be born. Oh, everything lives, like the moon and the sky, the stars at night. Everything lives, like the hair on your skin, the toes in your eyes. It exists, just like this, ways we can't quite recall. Someday we'll know, someday we will.
We stop thinking we know it all.
Bricks in my house have a story to tell. They were a mountain or a piece of a shell. The floors never stop, they relate to the walls. The doors are good friends with the halls. Oh! Indians believe in a natural spirit, whispering, now can you hear it? Proclaiming that everything lives. Oh, everything lives. Like the moon and the sky, the stars at night, everything lives. Like your hair and your skin, the toes in your eyes, everything lives. Like the sun and the clouds and the stuff all around it exists. Just like this. In ways that are a little bit hazy. Someday we'll see, one day we'll know. Then all the scientists can stop going so crazy. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So then I will go and give myself a few minutes here. So something different I haven't spoken on, and I like the idea of places that we've been, but I'm thinking of a book that I've read. And the book that I read was about a philosophy teacher from India who, and you guys may have heard of him, his name was Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. He was around in the late 80s. There was a book, and what reminded me of him was George's shirt, mustard seed. And mustard seed was one of the major principles that he expounded on in the book. The idea that it was the smallest tree, the smallest seed that actually created the largest tree. And then there is the parable, like the biblical parable of the mustard seed and its capacity to grow. And that's a special concept. I hadn't embraced that until I heard it from Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, who was apparently in the country. And he started one of those, it was sort of like a Sun Moon organ, one of those type of religious organizations where people would sort of throw their whole life into and disconnect from the rest of the world. And he was ultimately deported from the United States for, they had several Rolls Royces, not that he was deported for the Rolls Royces, but that sort of explained how they sort of lived their practical life. And he was deported and was not allowed to come back in because of the way that the funds were managed in the organization and the way it would function. But that's the less happy ending than the intent of good that he tried to do. And it did not work out that way. It was optimistic and maybe impractical in a sense, and when people would just overgive, they would leave their lives and families and sell their houses and follow the structure. And we know people who are that way. We know that that's okay. The concept that it's something that, so let me explore that for a moment. Our need to be able to connect and to be a part of is something that's exemplified when we have entities like this that come into existence. A brilliant concept of the mustard seed and love and connection. But the idea that we actually have, that we're compelled to be connected in many ways, and we're sort of not able to do so, especially in our country. We're 200 years old. I always say, like, we're sort of like 7-year-olds maybe, as far as the country goes in our age. But our capacity to connect, our need to connect is definite, firstly. And secondly, because we don't connect so much, because we're sort of disconnected, we have this backlash where we over-connect in different circumstances. And that's the sun, moon, and the mustard seed guy at Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, and those other different, the Moonies I'm thinking of, etc. So that's an interesting dynamic that exists in our society that's endemic or identifiable with almost our generation. It was around the 20s and 30s too, I guess, but since the 60s it sort of took hold again. And it's part of the increasing change that we were talking about earlier, that things are changing and getting faster, and the world is coming apart, that kind of thing. So it's interesting. Anyway, that's it for me. So yes.
Have no fear, monster's gone, he's on the run, and your daddy's here. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Before you go to sleep, say a little prayer. Every day, in every way, it's getting better and better. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Out on the ocean, sailing away, I can hardly wait to see you come of age. But I guess we both just have to be patient, 'cause there's a long way to go, a long road to hoe. There's a long way to go. So in the meantime, before you cross the street, take my hand. Life is what happens to us while we're busy making other plans. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Out on the ocean, sailing away, I can hardly wait to see you come of age. But I guess we both just have to be patient, 'cause there's a long way to go, a long road to hoe. There's a long way to go. So in the meantime, before you cross the street, take my hand. Life is what happens to us while we're busy making other plans. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Darling, 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 my darling, I say.
guys.
So, who wants to go next?
Well, I could go next, I guess.
Okay.
I just had a nice trip up to Seattle and got to go pick huckleberries, which I had never seen before, and thimbleberries, and then I saw salmonberries, but they weren't ripe yet, and got to see walked by these twin lakes, and went on all these ferries. There was just more water than I ever imagined. I felt like I was in Sweden or something, where everything was like just little bits of land, all just water everywhere, and just a little bit of land plopped in between. And so I never knew they had all those ferries, and it was really neat. I liked it. It was like going back to little towns and wandering out there and kind of, just a lot more nature than I had seen all joined together for a while. And I also kind of a different topic, seen these couple of movies. They have a Ventura Film Festival has these movies out like every other Tuesday, and so I saw, they did feature the Source family, and that had like a kind of a guru guy, and like everybody got lined up with the guru guy. I mean, he had all those health food restaurants in Santa Monica and whatnot. I forget his name, but anyway, at a certain point he decided that he would have all these wives and everything instead of just one, which the wife that he had was not really happy about. And so anyway, they had all these lovely ideas, all these lovely idealistic people, and they had this big house, but I think something happened with the house, and so that kind of was not doing well, and everything was falling apart ever since he did this whole thing. And then, he kind of, terrible things happened to him. Nobody, I don't know exactly why, but at the end, he dies and everything. And so I was just kind of fascinated by that whole story. And then I saw another documentary movie. And so this was based on really old footage. So there was another documentary movie there of, it was the devil comes to Galapagos. So they were really out in nature. They were trying to live in nature and be by themselves. And people started showing up like in string. It's really hard to get out there. So it was really, they wouldn't have expected people to show up. But people were showing up, and kind of their whole little paradise started to come apart. And of course somebody did think to film all this. This is like back in 1939 or something. It was really a long ways back. And it was so interesting because it really was like the devil came to the Galapagos, and it was a documentary. It was not a fiction. And so it was some kind of sad endings in there for different people. And I was just I just didn't get over such lovely documentaries with all this real footage of the actual people involved being in this film festival this year, and I really did get quite a thrill out of it all. So,
Well, excellent. Thank you.
Here's one I wrote up in Cape Cod while we were on that trip I was talking about, visiting all them cool people. Eric Clapton's yacht was in the Wellfleet Harbor that day. So I was writing a song on the beach looking at Eric Clapton's yacht. But will I ever get on there? Probably not. Remind me of someone who I once loved long before I put my eyes on you. I'm never gonna tell you 'cause it's nothing that you need to know.
one that I'm with. Kiss, kiss and hold. So dance with me, darling, I love only you. Dance with me, play with me, stay with me too. Walk with me, baby, down life's winding roads. Made me forget the girl I love long ago. Remind me of her, even wearing her red perfume. In every way, lovelier when it gets mixed with you. She was always so distant, you want me real close. You're the one that I'm with, kiss, kiss and hold. So dance with me, darling, I love only you. Dance with me, play with me, stay with me too. Walk with me, baby, down life's winding roads. You made me forget the girl I love long ago. You made me forget her smile, forgot her wandering eyes, given the way she left me that night. Dance with me, darling, I love only you. Dance with me, play with me, stay with me too. Walk with me, baby, down life's winding roads. You made me forget the girl I love long ago. You made me forget the girl I love long ago. Thank you, guys.
I'm going to stick with the theme, but it's going to be a little bit, it might seem a little bit strange, but favorite places dash music. And this is my perspective and thoughts on favorite places that I've been to. My ex-wife, who is now deceased, was selling T-shirts for the big bands back in the 70s. And she became friends with the wives of the band people. And she became friends with Aerosmith. And so when we planned our summer vacations after we were married, we set out to visit her good friend, the drummer of Aerosmith, Joey Kramer, and his wife. And we went there. I had been writing songs for about 15 years at that point, back in Little Ohio. And people told me that I was really good, and you know, your immediate crowd around you is going to tell you you're really good, and other people are going to ignore you, and you're going to have to find out what you feel about that. And I always thought that I was getting somewhere, and I was starting to achieve some ability. But anyway, we went to visit her friends, the Kramers, and we got to meet, all of Aerosmith and everything. And I was immediately struck by the fact that these people were experiencing and taking part in life at a higher level, just a quicker level. It was East Coast, Boston, and their brains were moving faster than mine. That was the first thing that struck me, you know. And they had no self-conscious activity. They didn't have to self-edit when they were talking. They didn't have to think about what they were saying. They were confident and flow. And I knew I wasn't in that flow. And it happened to be that particular weekend, we went a couple different times, but that particular weekend, John Lennon's last producer was staying. And John Lennon was one of my idols. You know, I thought that I was learning things from him. And I got to play a couple of my songs for these people, and I was frightened out of my mind playing these songs. But more importantly, when I finished playing the songs, I realized that I had a whole universe to go. You know, I realized I was nowhere. I was not even close. And it didn't freak me out at all. I thought, well, you have a big long journey ahead of yourself. And so that was a really great musical place for me to go, to get that insight that I needed to go a long way to get to just where they were all functioning from. You know, a kind of a freer place, a place where things interconnected and flowed into other places. I seem to be, you know, a bit herky-jerky, you know, still from Ohio. And not that Ohio is a place. I just was never confronted with people that had just gotten to a point where they were so comfortable with themselves that they just flowed. And from that point on, it has always taken me to my favorite place where I go, and I get to go to my favorite place every day. It's like my own interior journey. I've talked about it here before other times. It's just like completely getting away from it all for a couple hours, but not getting away, because I don't want to get away. I want to let everything that happened to me during the day, or maybe last week, or something that I heard. And it's one of the reasons that I love this place, because things stand out and they come back to you after you listen to other people's monologues. And every day I go to those places, and it's just like going on vacation. So that, you know, my favorite musical place that I go will be where tonight after here.
Oh, excellent. Yes, really, George.
Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. I know this evening's empire has returned into sand, vanished from my hand, left me blindly here to stand, still not sleeping. I'm ready to go anywhere, I'm ready for to fade to my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go under it. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy and there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll come following you. magic swirling shoot. All my senses have been stripped, and my hands can't feel to grip, and my toes too numb to step. Wait only for my good heels to go wandering. I'm ready to go anywhere. I'm ready for to fade to my own parade. Cast your dancing spell my way. I promise to go wandering. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. I'm not sleepy yet, there ain't no place I'm going to. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a song for me. In the jingle jangle morning, I'll go far away.
What a sound. What a sound.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
I do have a short, I'll try to make it very short, because I can't remember anybody's name or the names of any songs or anything else. I took a trip this last year. I was very lucky. I got to go to Scotland and Ireland to visit with some people that I am sort of remotely related to. And I got to attend musical performance in this little town. This takes you back about 500 years because it was not destroyed by the war, and there's cobblestone streets, and they don't even speak English hardly. They have a different name for everything. If you want to remember the names and they're on the street, you won't know what it is. It might mean alley, but it won't say alley. It'll say bray or something else. Totally different words. This musical performance was sung in Scottish, the whole thing. And there were dances, there was a lot of bagpipe playing, a lot of songs that were familiar to those people there. And the bagpipes are very, very loud inside a building this size. And the lights were very bright and the chairs were very hard, but they loved it. They were stomping up and down, and I'll never forget it. Outside it was really, really cold, and inside it was really, really hot. And the sound of the Irish rhythm is totally different from anything we have here. I mean, we sing a little bit of what's that dance they do?
You mean like Irish dancing or?
No, it's the name of whatever.
Clada.
Kata?
Clada.
Well, the
Clada?
Clada is the group here, Clada Irish dance.
Well,
group.
there's one very famous group that does.
Oh,
Michael
yeah.
Flatley and
River dance.
River
Dance,
dance,
yeah.
that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
think. The kinds of rhythm with river dance, but more. They have very, very sharp rhythms. And it's not just like there, 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 there. It's not like that. It's very, very strong. And it's got a little bit of offbeatness to it, and so it kind of sticks to you, and it's interesting. And then after that, of course, we walked through the countryside a little bit, and lots of hills. So it's pretty primitive in a place that's so old, it's still very primitive. So that's my story. Currymore, that was the name.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
excellent.
say what you mean each time you speak. Open your mouth, words that come out, what you conceive. Say no one gets me, they all must be asleep. But are you clear and concise? Are your words full of spice? You say what you mean. Center for art and talk. You can learn how to vocally walk. When you find your speaking space, go talk to the human race. Center for art and talk. You can listen to other stars and decide